welcome to the very first episode of After Office Hours. I'm Scooter, head of content strategy for Parabellum, and these are my two co-hosts. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Noobsie. I'm the general manager of Rocket League operations for Parabellum.
I am Jmal or Jake, whichever you prefer, and I basically just do whatever Noobsie doesn't want to do. Pretty much it, mostly Rocket League stuff.
So you do everything for Noobsie.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna brand new podcast. We're just, testing the waters here. Obviously, previously in the past, Drew and myself were doing the refrag. We're kind of moving away from the refrag. We kind of want to change the pace. Refrag was definitely heavily esports, related. This is gonna be that plus more. We're going to be talking about esports, our personal PB games in Arc 6, all the way to why Noobsie's wearing the hat he's wearing. I mean, good hat, but and then we're going to talk about, our sponsors. We're going to talk about probably crypto and stocks and just even general news as well. Things going on in the world that we kind of want to touch on, give our 2 cents that people really don't care for, but we're just going to talk about everything and anything. So let's just jump in with some PB updates real quick. I don't think we have a lot to talk about this week.
Not really.
Sorry, Noobsie, go ahead.
No, just a couple of announcements. I mean, a couple of nice ones, a couple of things very good for the, sustainability of the organization, but overall not too much news when it comes to updates.
Yeah, I mean, the only big thing really this week that we can talk about so far is which most people have seen already, is the merch. Merch is looking hella clean.
And actually seeing it on stage too. As soon as they announced it, seeing them with the Peach Boy jersey.
Oh yeah.
That shit was clean. Oh, I can cuss, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah,
no, we're leaving that in.
Leave it in. Don't cut it. Leave it in.
No, even seeing like Penguin with the new jacket, I wasn't sure how those were gonna. Obviously, they look sick in design. I just wasn't sure how they were gonna look on the players, or if the players would wear jackets for stage and stuff. But they look like so good.
They look like this. It's even my new desktop background too. So that is what the jacket looks like, right? I'm not looking like an idiot.
No, yeah, that is what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if I knew it was inverted, but I didn't know if it was all blue or all
That took
white.
Me a second for me to figure out that it was the border
me too.
For this is what you were pointing at. I was like, what are you doing? Making like a rhombus?
I was like, what's a kite, dude? Like, what? Why?
Rhombus.
But I mean, yeah, R6. So we're just gonna hop straight from updates to updates at the start of podcasts. They'll usually be pretty quick unless we got something major going on. So let's talk about R6 a little while we're talking about the merch. Obviously this podcast is the first episode, so we're a couple of weeks behind on some news. R6 roster bringing in Blaz and Gunner. Obviously we're in week six now, or week 5 now.
Like play day 5.
Yeah, play day 5 and 6. Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy. Those two have been a huge addition, both showing their worth in, gold, essentially. Like,
dude, I'm looking at the stats right now, the player ratings. Gunner's number 4 out of the entire NAL.
Yeah.
So,
that's,
and then Blaz is not too far behind him. I mean, Blaz is, God, I can't count that high.
Yeah,
at least
brought him in to get
at least top 20. Yeah, brought him in to get kills, and he's 1,000%.
Yeah.
So,
stage 1 too. Like, people were super impressed when Wimpy came in, and we were too. Like, watching Wimpy go off. I wasn't even in the org at the time, and seeing Wimpy go off, and it was like, that's sick. They brought in another CL player, and then like, no disrespect to him, but seeing like Blaz and Gunner, obviously Blaz has made his own name in the EU, but Gunner, like, it was a question mark for a lot of people. People were really confused about the pickup, and I think same thing with Wimpy. People were confused about the Wimpy pickup and knew he was a good player, but just like kind of out of the blue. And then, all 3 of those guys have done the same thing. So huge shout out to those 3.
Well, it comes down to that quote that I'm gonna botch it, but it is from Tom Brady. It's when you get that one shot, you got to make the best of it. I'm being serious, you know.
No,
Drew
that is
Bledsoe
true.
goes down, Tom Brady gets that one opportunity, and look what happened. So Wimpy really capitalized on that one shot, and he definitely made his mark, showed why he deserves to be on a good roster. So I was happy for him.
Oh yeah. And then what else have we got? So I did want to touch on, we got some notes here, obviously, so that's what I'm reading. I did want to touch on content real quick. Obviously, with me being back, I'm bringing back, all the weekly stuff, the sponsored weekly stuff for R6 highlights. The comms are returning. Those are going to be probably this weekend, so it should be out by the time this goes out. What else have we got going on content wise? There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff we want to show. I can't say too much about some of the stuff we have planned, but obviously R6 content for Parabellum was pretty non-existent in the last couple of months, so the fact that we can bring it back is fucking huge, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to push more content, and especially the TeamSpeak stuff, or whatever we're calling it now. You'll see a different title on whenever it comes out. And yeah, mainly content. There's a lot of things that I personally think are untapped in R6 content, and I think I'm gonna show it off. But again, I can't say too much, so I'm just excited
those
to
are
show
definitely
people.
definitely some of my favorite ones to watch, or like TeamSpeak, like on tab, where you can actually hear what's going on in the matches, opposed to like yeah, it's cool to see what the commentators are saying while it's happening, but actually being able to hear like all the high paced like comms and everybody screaming on top of like the shit talk that goes on.
I want to know what Eska yells the other time.
Oh yeah,
I want to know what they yell at the other
when
team.
I hear the French profanity come out, that's when I get going.
Oh, yeah.
Oui.
And so like I said, updates we're gonna fly through as quick as possible. We're gonna look at the matches quick. We're gonna play a little fun game between ourselves. What we kind of think the score. I mean, obviously we're all probably gonna say PB wins.
All in on PB. All in.
All channel
I lost
points.
all my channel points on the Beast Coast game. I lost all my SI channel points on the Beast Coast game, so I'm kind of a little bit upset. But I got faith that they're gonna earn me some back this week. I think they're gonna surprise some folks with that TSM game. So
yeah, so we've got PB Mirage for Playday 7, and that's going to be on the Tuesday at 2 p.m. We're the first match of the day. I think that's going to be a pretty clean, like 7-3. Mirage have definitely been looking better, but
yeah, I could see that.
Feeling the Brazil, the 7-1.
PB, right?
PB, obviously.
Okay.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. I think it's going to be. I think a lot of people are obviously Mirage are looking better. I think it's a playstyle though that the PB boys are probably pretty used to and can read into pretty well. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they played really good against Beast Coast. Now, I'm sure people will say Beast Coast played bad, but at the same time, Mirage looked. I mean, it's a 7-5. So
yeah, but coming off of the way they got to 7-5, I think when we do get the lead, I think we just need to breathe a little bit. I think they started going too hard, swinging, peaking when they really didn't need to. I think they just needed to settle down a little bit, and that would have been a good win. But I think that's what they need to kind of focus on, is just slow down. We got the lead. Don't make dumb decisions. Like they're obviously experienced. They just got to breathe a little bit every now and again.
Yeah, I think it was like a good example with the Dark Zero match. Dark Zero, obviously, 100%. Insane team. They just came off of major win, if I'm not mistaken. And like those first 3 rounds, we were just ego peaking them and frying the first 3 rounds. Like Blaz was popping off.
That 2v1 was ridiculous.
With an established team like that, like after those 3 rounds, they're like, okay, they're gonna ego swing, so I'm gonna play this differently than I was.
Yeah, I'm gonna play like the tightest angles.
Yeah. And I think with a team like Mirage, that obviously still a world-class team, they're playing in NAL, but they're not quite on that level. So I think once we set that tone, let's say we do 3 rounds like that, then we'll be able to cruise on through the finish line.
Yeah. All right. So I think, we're all pretty even about that match. Yeah. So let's go on to the Playday 8. We are going to be the second last game of the day. Don't know what time that's going to be because R6 never is on time. I mean, no esports is ever on time. PB versus TSM. Jake, you wanna give it a go first? See what you're predicting.
I think it'll be a classic barn burner. I think we'll do our standard get up early. We'll start to drop a couple rounds, call timeout, get back in the game. And I'm feeling another 8-7 OT.
Yeah.
I think if we're taking it against TSM, I think it's going to be an OT game.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty on the same page. Like, my problem is we need the 3 points from Mirage, and then we would like 3 more points from TSM. So, like, the PB in me wants to say like 7-5.
7-0.
That's about how I was feeling, like, as a PB.
Yeah, but
PB
then
diehard.
but I have to throw the bias aside and say that if we are gonna take it, it's gonna be an 8-7, or if we lose it, it's gonna be a 7-8. Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a really close game.
Like, this team has the capabilities to beat anyone on any day, but also, I mean, so does every other team in NAL. They're there for a reason. They're world-class teams. So it really depends who shows up.
I will say, and I know it's a little thing, but if I think it was Geo who was sick on TSM. Now I don't know if it's COVID or if it's something completely unrelated. If he is still sick and they have to play from home, then I think we have a much better chance, because I think it's a lot more likely that it'll be a 7-5 for us, because the boys are going to be comfortable on their own PCs.
Yep.
Their chairs are how they like them. They're in their zone. And I mean, it's like, we've all played events before, so it's like when you're playing at home, it's I know how my chair is, I know how my desk is, I know how my monitors sit. And yeah, you can replicate it at a LAN and stuff, and
you're never going to get it perfect.
Yeah, you're never going to get it perfect. And so, yeah, I think we'll see. I mean, that's like looking into it way too much, but it's going to be a stupid close game. And if it doesn't go to OT, it's definitely like a 7-5.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about the offline, because Lord knows when there's not a camera on me and I'm playing in my own ways, I'm looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, basement dweller, full on.
Go a little bit.
And then I guess we'll save I was going to talk about Playday 9, but we're going to leave that for next episode, because that's a little bit away. So
Playday 9.
There's only one match in Playday 9. So that's the last week of play. So we got this week, and then next week there's only one game, and it's on the Tuesday, I think. It is. It's on the Tuesday, and that's so.
Oh wait, we have 5, 6, and then.
Oh no, we're on Playday. We have 7 and 8, and then we're on 9. So we're actually
in week 4, dude.
Yeah, we're already in week 4. I know,
Jesus.
right? Time flies way too quickly. But speaking of being at events and not at home, let's talk about real quick, and I'm not gonna have probably like 2 cents to talk about this, so you guys are gonna have to take it over. The RL London major.
Just gonna say it.
Go ahead, Jake.
Version 1's pulling through. They're taking it home. Com's got that shit talk going on. Everyone's hating him for it. V1's taking it home. It's gonna be version 1 Falcons in the finals. V1's taking it.
Wrong.
Wrong.
KCP.
Well, they're already out.
I'm just kidding. No.
As much as I love that team.
I am pretty impressed with the run, though. Top 12 is not bad.
I mean, they
OCE,
3-0'd BDS, and they took
and then Liquid, right?
To Game 5.
Didn't they beat? I didn't see any of the group stage stuff.
No, so they first round they lost to Space Station 3-2, so they took them to a Game 5, which is ridiculous. Top NA team, and NA and EU are obviously the powerhouse regions for Rocket League, but I mean the skill gap's closing.
I mean, even their 3-0, even their 3-0 today, 2 of the games went to OT, and they were like 1-2, 3-2. Yeah, it was against Moist.
They played Team BDS and then Moist afterwards, which are the 2
top
honestly
3
non-negotiable teams in EU. Like they're showing out. They're showing out.
Yeah, they're gonna be a force.
Mm-hmm.
No, realistically, I'm thinking Moist is gonna make another deep run, but I do see a V1 Moist grand final. Falcons are obviously surprising a lot of people, but I do think it's going to be a V1 Moist grand final, and I think Moist takes it.
So here's a question for you guys then. This is, and correct me if I'm wrong, like I said, I don't know too much about the RL scene, but with Moist, this is their first event ever, right?
Under Moist, it's
Yeah,
the first
under Moist.
major. Yes.
They were under Team Queso up until the start of the spring split.
Right, but it is Moist. Like Moist as an org first. Do you think this makes? Do you think this is like big news? I mean, obviously it's the same roster, so nothing really changes with the roster. But do you think this is kind of, if they do end up taking it, do you think this is kind of like a holy shit for Rocket League? You know, this org comes in, instantly picks up Queso, and a team that didn't really, you know.
I don't think so, because everyone knew, like, Team Queso was already making a case that they were top 2 definite.
At the LA major, like they were definitely. Yeah. I mean, they really showed up in the winter.
They came in, and they came in 9th
on everybody's radar.
They came in 9th in the fall, and then kind of pulled it. I don't know if they made a roster move or they just started. I think they just started playing more consistently. And then ended up working their way up, came in 2nd in that major, and then kind of showed out, won a couple regionals. And I mean, they were looking like a top team before Moist stepped in. So,
and I suppose it does give us kind of like an interesting insight, because I know there was a lot of rumors about who's picking them up, like that I did follow, and it kind of goes to show, like, I think if anything, like, let's say they do win it, I think the one thing it does solidify is that, like, Moist as an org isn't fucking around. Like, they're not.
Yeah, it kind of validates them as more than just like Moist Critical being a meme lord.
Yeah, I think, and it also does good for the growth of the game, because I know Critical hosted watch parties that were almost doing better than RLCS broadcasters.
Yeah, he's gonna bring a lot of new eyes in, and that's the big thing, and that's always fantastic to see, because there's a lot of people that watch him that probably have never watched Rocket League in their life, and the fact that Rocket League is so easy to watch, like I've said, I don't know a lot about the esports scene with Rocket League. I know enough to get by, but I like watching it. I can easily watch, and I really enjoy watching it. It's super easy to follow.
It's fast-paced, quick 5-minute games. Like, it's not like a game of Valorant or Siege or CSGO where it's, you know, could go up to 27 rounds. Like,
and you got to know peaks and this spot and all that other stuff.
All you got to know in Rocket League is car go up in air, car hit ball go in goal.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why, you know, sorry, not to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
It's like, you know, my girlfriend and I going to RLCS Worlds. I think it would be a lot easier for her to get some sort of understanding of that. Like, all you have to do is really much explain the history of the teams, like what teams are rivals, what, you know, who's the most decorated at LAN, stuff like that. Because the concept of the game is simple. Like, if you were to take someone casual to a R6 major or whatever, you got to explain what operator does what. It gets too much. To be honest, it just gets too much.
And even with things like how somebody got a kill through a wall, like, how do they know? And then you have to explain that. And it's because, sorry, just quickly, that's the thing about Rocket League that's so, it's so weird that it's not officially a tier 1 esport yet, because it follows such a similar trajectory of traditional sports. Like, you could bring, like you said, you could bring anybody to an event and be like, hey, you know, car go on field, ball go in goal, boom. Oh, so soccer with cars. Not a new concept either. And, you know, anyone can get behind it. It's like going to see any IRL sport. You know, anybody can enjoy it and have a good time, feel the energy there, and they know what's going on.
I'm going to say this. I think next Olympics, if they're actually able to hold it live like they were planning with the previous one.
The Intel World Open?
Yes. If they do some sort of deal to put it either on TV or mass produce it where it's live in person, something you can go do, I think that turns a lot of casual people and even people not in video games to realize, oh, this is actually like a legit thing.
Oh yeah.
Because out of any esport, I think Rocket League has the easiest transferability of you could put it up at a TV anywhere and explain, hey, this is car soccer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people would watch it.
Yeah, Psyonix is like finally starting to figure that out because I think it was like maybe a year or two ago they had a live event on ESPN2 and they wanted to bring in like a soccer following, so they had Landon Donovan, US soccer legend, commentating games with like a pro RL caster, and it was awful.
It was terrible. It was so bad. Dude.
It was so. He was just so lost. He had no idea what he was supposed to say because like he'd never heard of this before. They just paid him to come on and do this bit for car soccer. It was the worst thing I've ever seen, which in turn made it great because I love stuff like that. But
I think proper planning and they really find someone like, I mean, you got actual athletes.
oh yeah, like Joe Burrow. He's like C3. Like he's a champ 3 in Rocket League.
Boston Scott.
Philadelphia
Eagles players.
Dignitas now.
Yeah.
There's like, a lot of...
They're bringing real names into this. Bryce Alford, pro basketball player. Noobsie and I's trio
for the
partner.
shout out.
Question. Can you hear that in the background?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Right.
Bryce Alford.
Dude's a baller, dude.
Man's a shooter. I ain't even gonna lie. You need to go and watch that man's highlights. That man shoots.
All right. I think we can move to the, speaking of ballers, one of our baller sponsors. We're just going to do a quick ad read for Shakepay. Obviously, we just partnered, maybe 2 weeks ago now? So 2 weeks ago, we partnered up with Shakepay and made it super easy for Canadians. I know I'm with 2 Americans, but I can speak on the Canadian side. Super easy to get beat.
I don't know if camera caught that, but I just spilled all over myself with that first sip.
It's fine, and I'm going to keep it in, and I'm also going to keep it in the ad read. So yeah. For Canadians.
It's a little dribble.
I'm, we're obviously partnered with Shakepay, and we've been putting out the Shake plays of the game, and that's been fantastic. They've been fantastic, and they've helped us help you make it easier to buy BTC, Ethereum, some of the altcoins, and they're fantastic. So if you want to sign up, we'll be leaving a link down below. It's going to be shakepay.me/r/parabellum. And you can, go check it out for yourself. Squads is a super cool feature. I know Llama's been super diving into that. And I think in a future episode, we're probably going to have somebody on from Shakepay. Pick their mind about a bunch of stuff. See what maybe some insider knowledge.
Illegal.
No, that is true.
I'm just kidding.
But no, I mean, speaking of crypto and stuff, anybody been dwindling in the crypto space? I know you've been dwindling your stocks, but
crypto. No, but I probably should because it's at a fucking discount right now.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so like I haven't gotten back into any stocks or anything, obviously, in the past couple of months, but it's been so hard not to just pull the trigger on crypto because, BTC was down like crazy. It's kind of going back up right now. I mean, I think it's going to fluctuate a lot right now. But BTC, ETH, do you see that face?
I was cracking up because one of my buddies who didn't know anything about crypto was pretty much the same like headspace as you. Like, I've been wanting to just throw money on it, but like haven't. And then he types in a group chat, threw $100 in on ETH. Let's see what happens. Next day, up 20%. Stonks.
Oh yeah.
I think COVID messed with a lot of people's idea of investing.
Yeah.
Because 20%, 30%, 50% returns in 2 days is ridiculous. It does not happen. I think it's
just the whole Wall Street bets or whatever on Reddit. Like,
if you get enough people, to buy at one stock, like it's gonna go up regardless.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, you are going to win more if you invest in things you like, because I know people that, I mean, there's a dude at work that made $500,000 off the GameStop whole thing, and
Yep.
then didn't sell at the right time and lost 3,000 of that. Granted, he still made $200,000, but if you hop on that train or hop off that train too late, you lose tons of money.
Yeah, and
So
that's the big problem with a lot of. I mean, like obviously crypto has been pretty stable, and there's a lot of things, like a lot of factors right now, especially with, I think a big reason for a lot of the crypto stuff is that, people are worried about recession and stuff, so they want to have cash on hand, and they want to cash out while it's high. And then on top of that, when you have a lot of people cashing out, obviously it affects the price. Everything's going to go down because people are hopping off the boat.
paper hands.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? But we've seen a lot. I don't know, it just goes up and down so crazy. So I mean, that's been my problem with crypto when I look into it, and especially right now, it's like I could be like, let me throw $1,000 into BTC while it's down. But then who knows? If we actually go into a full-on recession, is it gonna go down even more, and my 1,000 turns into 500, and so on and so forth? And it's like, I think that's the scary thing about crypto, where, I mean, it's the scary thing with anything. Let me just reword that a little bit, because it can I mean, if a recession happens, everything's going down. Stocks, crypto, gold, you name it, it's gonna happen. Like,
Well, doesn't really affect you. Well, actually, our economy kind of affects much of the world's economy. I hate to be the whole American number one thing, but a lot of what our
USA.
economy does affects the rest of the world. So this is a interesting fact for you. June 30th, yesterday. Well, it's gonna be much later as of recording this, but June 30th, end of day, was the lowest our economy has been. I have to find the right wording, but I believe this whole 6-month span is probably the worst turn of the market we've had since almost the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah.
So
we're in a
by
bad
now,
we're in a bad time. Everything's at a discount, and that's one of those things, people that I talk to at work or around that don't do stocks as heavily, they see it going down, they sell, they panic.
Yeah.
Whereas I just keep
Yeah, you can
building and
double
putting
dip.
more
Like,
in.
I don't like investing just because I haven't done enough research on what to invest, what to do. But one of my buddies who invests big in like crypto and stuff like that, his advice was, yeah, so basically what is you'll see stuff on social media when it's at an all-time high or an all-time low. So
Too late.
basically just put money in when you see it's at the low, delete the app, don't worry about it.
yeah.
And then when you see something that it's at a high, then you're like, oh, you can go for it now.
I don't.
And and I'm only saying, he said do this with an amount of money that you're okay with losing, because obviously with any investment, he's not saying throw your life savings into it.
No. But I know, buddy of mine at work put me on to about 2-3 weeks ago. Redbox. It was in a short squeeze. I can't stand Redbox. I think it's dead. It's dead. No one uses. I didn't even know Redbox still existed, to be honest with
One
you.
at my CVS down the street.
Yeah, but have you used one? Who uses that? Now, do I think their stock is worth $9 a share? No. But when I did put in at $9 a share, because he, said, do your research, don't throw money into it, if you're not comfortable with losing it, because it could go up, it could go down, but it's being short squeezed like a motherfucker. So could go up. 2 days later, it went up to $17. I thought it was going to break 20, had a lot of resistance, and then it went back down to 15 and I sold. I mean, I almost doubled my money.
Yeah.
So used that, went back, bought me a share of Tesla. Oh, I'm so happy. I've always wanted a share of Tesla. I'm not even going to lie. That one's up. And then I went back and bought more in the stocks that pay me dividends, stuff that can compound in the future.
Yeah.
The stock that I bought was a realty holdings company. I can probably say it's O Realty. Their dividend is like 5%. So just for holding that one share, I get 5% of what the stock price is worth. And I have like 13 shares of them, I believe, right now. So I buy stuff that can return me money just by holding it. So if O Realty goes down, I don't care. They're still paying me money.
And-
If other stocks go down, don't care. Still paying me money.
And I do want to touch on quickly too, like you said, it's what you do. And obviously we're probably going to talk about this a lot throughout the weeks of this podcast. Obviously this is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors. We are not even close to financial advisors. We just want to talk about some of the stuff that, we've seen on the media. We do personal. Noobsie just giving you that look. Don't listen to him. He will lead you into bad places.
In my face.
But that's
someone
the thing.
has to work with Noobsie. Don't listen to him.
Exactly. But we're not financial advisors. Do not take whatever we say, even if we're talking about a meme stock, even if we're talking about something that sounds like foolproof that it's going to make you money. Do your own research, stick with the numbers, not your gut.
I mean, come on. Would
Jesus
you really take
says.
financial advice from a dude drinking Pink Whitney out of a bottle? Come on.
From a guy named Noobsie.
Exactly. So
But
yeah.
It's signed by Biz himself and Nezzy. I love Derek Nesbitt.
And then I'll just finish quickly before we go on the booze talk. That obviously any of our opinions on all crypto stocks and all this stuff does not reflect on ourselves or does not reflect on Parabellum or any of their sponsors. So this is nothing that Shakepay has given us. This is nothing that Parabellum's told us to say. This is all the three of us personal opinions and not advice. And yeah, from there, I mean, we kind of touched the. You want to touch anything else on your portfolio, or are you good?
Not really the portfolio. I do want to say in the coming weeks, probably want to dive into esports careers and investing. How to maximize money professional players are getting now. Again, not financial advice, but just things that, it happens in traditional sports too, where people make money and then spend it. So just to kind of ensure that,
It's actually one thing I've always been super impressed in. I've seen a lot of teams throughout my time in esports, even before joining Parabellum originally. And I have never been so impressed with a team. Now, fair enough, I don't normally get to talk to a whole team at once. Usually I know individuals from teams. But with the PB boys, all I gotta say is I don't know about the new roster. I can only speak on the original roster that I've met in person in Toronto and stuff. They're really good with their money, from what I've heard, from what they've told me at least. So, I mean, I just got to say props to them. It's not often you see some young guys being like actually genuinely pretty smart with their money. Like,
that's good.
And then speaking of stocks and stuff, I know Noobsie want to talk about this quite a lot, but FaZe going public.
Yeah, I'm not buying them.
No,
isn't this the second time that they've made a big announcement like this? Or
yes, but this time
the company
they overvalued the first time by a ton. But I believe it was the B. Riley Holdings firm filed like a joint SEC thing saying that they are merging with FaZe and gonna be on the stock exchange. I don't know if the SEC approved it, but I think they did because it was news. It wasn't just them announcing it for the second time.
yeah.
But I have to go back and double check. But again, not a big fan of what FaZe Clan does with their money. With them overvaluing so bad at the beginning. They believe
they have
like
a bad history of doing stuff like that.
Yeah, don't trust them with your money.
From their individual creators that didn't really.
I mean, and
receive a big punishment.
That's where I kind of disagree. Only because I know the crypto schemes you're talking about and stuff, and it was with their content creators. I'm pretty sure though this is a decision that's come directly from the top.
Oh yeah.
Whereas most of the people involved in this, to say it politely, don't give a fuck about their content creators. Like they're a lot higher up to the point where they probably don't even know who their content creators are. They just want it to go public. But I do have a question for both of you. Do you think, I mean, this is kind of the first extreme example we've seen an org at a tier 1 level go public, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
No. Luminosity is EGLX, if I'm not mistaken. They're on the same holdings company.
But as an org directly, I mean, though.
Yeah. No, yeah. think this is the first time.
Because I know for a fact, like like you're right, Luminosity is under the EGLX banner, but I'm not sure if that's directly, you know, I'm not sure how they're doing that. But yeah, as an org, I mean, I think it's gonna be. So yeah, this is kind of the first time we're properly seeing it, and I think I don't know how to feel about it. Like I think it's gonna do good things for FaZe, and I think it's gonna allow them to do even more. I just don't know if it's something they necessarily needed to do at this point. Like I feel like they're kind of in the spot where unless they've got something huge planned that they want to do, and the only thing that changes it is going public and having investors, but I don't know.
I think
Well, I mean, they've always prided themselves on being like pioneers in the industry and trying to be bigger and better than anything that's happened in the space.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that. I mean, it's a statement.
plus it's one of those. It's just one of the check marks. I mean, they've
Mhm.
kind of done everything in the space. You know, they've partnered with Disney, Nerf. I mean, they've
Yeah.
partnered with huge brands and brought in huge talent. Started from just a bunch of nerds doing trick shots.
The only team to partner with Rocket League directly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Because of the Nissan sponsorship.
So it's like, I think they're kind of doing this as a check mark, but I do see, I wanted to bring it up. I do think probably Optic would be the next one to do something like that. But I think I would actually invest in Optic because I just think they're one. I like their brand a little bit more. Hex is a very intelligent individual.
Their
It doesn't look
higher
like
up
a bunch
doesn't
of
seem
frat guys.
doesn't seem as much as guys in suits
Yeah,
parading and puppeting the trick shotters that turned LA.
yeah.
I mean, I
Hex
think-
is very on the ground. He looks very genuine, even though he's like, you can tell he's up here. He's not an idiot, but he also is not one of the suits. So
I think with FaZe, I think for me, it's like, I think this could like, that's why I'm really like even ground on this, because obviously I know the crypto schemes in the past, but I also know FaZe Bank's involvement in crypto and NFT, and he has been a pretty original OG when it comes to the crypto space and the NFT space, and he does know what he's talking about. And so it's, you know, whether this is a play directly from him, and you know, it's him saying, you know, we need to get stocks going and being in the market, and you know, they've pushed crypto in the past. I know he's personally huge into crypto, and it's just, it'll be very curious to see how it goes and who follows really.
Yeah.
And if this is another FaZe Bank's pioneering thing, like
I'm probably gonna get shares eventually, but not originally, because I think what the company, because I looked at the B. Riley Holdings company that filed it, their stock's at like $40 a share right now. Don't really think that's gonna go up. If it does go live, I think it's gonna go down.
That's my big question mark about
financial
esports
advice.
stocks.
Remember, but I think it's gonna go down.
See, yeah, and that's my big question mark for me about esports stocks and stuff, is like, what is gonna fluctuate? Okay, obviously like sponsors and stuff, and you know, public eye is gonna fluctuate this a lot, and any deals they make, whether they get bought out or etc. But like, is the actual esports side of it gonna affect this at all, right? Like, let's say FaZe win a major in Rocket League or CS or even R6. It's like, what does this mean actually on the esports side? Or is this really just like a, hey, we're going public, it's going to be under FaZe, but it's really not for the people that they're kind of showing it to? You know, they're kind of showing it to esports fans and FaZe fans, saying like, hey, we're going public. And you know, there'll be stock people that are also FaZe fans, but really what in esports is actually going to directly change that stock price that isn't on the business level anyway? You know what I mean? That could be a holding company in the first place. So
I don't think there's really anything like, there's not that one thing I can think of that.
I mean that's the
pushes
thing.
it.
If major wins and stuff does affect the stock price, and you know, people go, oh yeah, you know, they just won a major, they probably got a big deal coming, people buy more, and it does change it, then you know, I think
That
we'll see a
blows it
lot
open.
of
Yeah, But like, I know sponsors is a big part of it, but like, say they win a major of some sort, it's like, how is,
They-
let's just throw a number of 300,000. How is 300,000 gonna affect, like, make a big enough splash? Because that's just on like the face value of what public sees.
Yeah.
Like, how I can't see that affecting
Like
too much.
we can kind of see into the back end because we know org takes and we don't know the exact numbers, but we understand the kind of business side behind what the org actually makes. And
I mean,
wins don't really mean anything. It's all what the company's
I think
Yeah.
the only way
eyes
that
bring in
changes
for
it,
us.
the only thing that changes it, in my opinion, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out, is the fact that if they do, even if like ignore that 300,000 number we threw out, I don't even think the money matters what they win. I think it'll be how many eyes did that tournament get on them winning with their sponsors on their jerseys.
gonna be
If
huge.
it's Rocket League, with the sponsors on the cars,
Yeah.
and I think that's the sort of stuff that can change it. Where other companies go, hey, we saw them win, we want in, and then whether it's partnerships or sponsorships, and the stock goes up because all the sponsors are happy they got that 2 million viewer public eye across all platforms. And it's like, will that change it much, or will that be like a, hey, it went up $5 because they won this week or this month, and then next month it goes right back down to that 40 mark? So I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be super tough.
That's the big thing. Like, that's why I just said at face value.
Yeah.
Like the public eye, like the fans of FaZe, 99% of them, they don't know, like, their new sponsorship with Ghost Energy after ending things with G Fuel. They have zero clue what that value is for that.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, new energy drink. Oh,
Yeah.
they won a tournament. Like the actual money that's in FaZe is probably absurdly high to what the common eye thinks it is.
Yeah, I think, and I think we can, like I said before, we can kind of understand. Again, we don't know actual dollar amount, but Nissan, really,
Well, think
that
about it with
brings in a ton of money for FaZe
with
Clan.
TSM's partnership with that FTX. Wasn't that like a 200 million plus deal?
Something like that. I
Yeah,
think
it was
it was
some-
an absurd amount.
Here, I'll
Yeah.
pull it up, but I know it's because they got naming rights.
Yeah.
And that is a
Kind
huge,
of like
Oh,
General NRG.
yeah, $210 million sponsorship.
yeah.
So I mean, speaking of absurd money, because I think we've kind of touched on that topic good enough. VCT, this is gonna be a weird segue, but VCT Valorant, I saw in the news that they had over, I think, 150 plus and growing partner applications for
This is a weird segue.
It is a weird
It's
segue.
it's for NA only though, isn't that?
I see.
Or is
That's what
that
I'm not
overall?
sure about. But I know it's because they're looking to go in that sort of franchise partner route, and that's where I wanted to go to about absurd money. We've seen, I mean, only so far in esports, we've only seen failed franchising. Really,
Mhm.
I mean,
CDL, terrible.
Right.
Overwatch League, terrible. Overwatch League is dead.
and
Who
see,
watches that?
That's
Same
my
thing
problem.
with TDL.
Where we have these, the only franchise that I think has done remotely well is maybe League of Legends.
I don't watch any of that, so I
But-
can't tell you.
But my only problem is, like, it's very scary to see esports go franchise. Especially with we've seen like CDL and OWL, and those are fails. But the question is, what we don't know on the back end is, did these orgs break even? Was it good enough that they broke even? But at that like $30 million mark just to get in, I don't think so. And the
It's not worth
viewership
it.
isn't there. Coca-Cola pulled out of the old WL. There's so many question marks about these franchises, and I know people in the background know the answers, but franchise is scary because of Valorant, and I don't think Valorant will mess it up. I think they'll follow very closely with their League of Legends, structure. But so yeah, 150 partner applications. That is crazy. And I mean, I think they're gonna have a hard time choosing what orgs get picked. I mean, there's obviously gonna be some prerequisites. You know, it'll be a definitely an income thing. I
Oh
think
yeah.
content will be another. You know, can they provide? There's a lot of big orgs out there that really don't care for their content, and you can tell on paper they're probably just some really rich owners that are running this thing, and they don't really understand the space. But then you have orgs that are like, I think we were just talking about them. FaZe. I mean, FaZe is a great example of content. You know, they split their content into multiple avenues, whether it's org content. You know, they have a shit ton of content creators. Even FaZe Bank streams. Like everybody that needs a name on FaZe streams, and even their CS players and stuff. Like I'm sure their other teams do as well. But they stream on Twitch, and that's a little thing sometimes, but it's content still.
I mean, that's why 100 Thieves blew up so quick. Nadeshot knew that space better than anyone.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
he had investors take a risk with him, and he blew up the scene.
And I imagine, I can almost guarantee you 100 Thieves is definitely one of those partners.
Oh, yeah.
And they won a couple Valorant majors already, haven't they? Or one, right?
I think they've won
Was
one.
It something else?
I know 100 Thieves have been having a tough time.
Regardless of their team, I mean, their connections in the Valorant space alone is enough to...
I do think, like, there's some pros with franchising, but I think kind of COVID screwed that up. Because if my understanding, like with the CDL, the whole plan was to rotate majors to a home arena.
Yeah.
Like I think Atlanta FaZe was gonna have the Turner Studios, the London team was gonna have Copper Box. Like it was gonna rotate around to different areas, and then you couldn't do anything.
Which
doesn't help that the merch sucks. Doesn't help that the game sucks. Like the merch is just 3 colors, a line across the front, and the team name. It's terrible.
Do they not
and it's $80.
Do they not allow teams to have personalized merch? Like, is it just like a baseline of what?
It's a franchise team, and the CDL takes a cut, and then the team takes their cut, like a revenue share. But the jerseys suck.
That leads me to my second point about this. Like, that's one of the biggest things I did not like about Overwatch League and CDL, the naming rights. As soon as they join that franchise, they are not allowed to be like. So if we joined it, we wouldn't be able to be called Parabellum Esports. We'd have to probably be called like the Toronto Peanut Butters or some shit like that.
Yeah, people bitch that they were called that. FaZe got to keep their name, the Atlanta FaZe, because they're the only ones that get to do that.
Yeah, I remember there was big backlash with FaZe and Optic, because you hear FaZe and Optic, that is Call of Duty.
Yeah,
they made Call of Duty.
Same thing with the LA Thieves too. People were annoyed with that because Oxygen can't do anything with their name, even though they're the Boston Breach.
Boston Breach.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Like these orgs pay all this money to get in, and I think it's such a flaw in franchising.
Because they don't even get to use their own branding.
Yeah, and the thing is though, when they gain fans, like let's say like COD, like obviously COD is always gonna have a huge fan base. Let's say somebody starts watching, their first esport is CDL, and they watch, that's Boston Breach. I'll use OXG, really good example. And they watch, but they only know of Boston Breach now. Maybe they don't even know that Oxygen Esports is a real thing. Like they don't even know of that main org, and those orgs can't even sell them PB merch or Oxygen merch because they don't know what they're looking at. And it's such a fail in franchising, and it's almost a fuck you to orgs, because it's like, hey, you have to push this branding.
I think a great example of that is what is it, Minnesota Roker? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, owned by Gary V.
Yeah. We'll just use Twitter as an example. The Roker Twitter account has like hundreds of thousands of followers. V1, which is the org that supports that, has like 45K.
Yeah, and they're really only known for Valorant.
Yeah, like Valorant, Rocket League, and CDL are their 3 main things, but like,
no one knows.
Imagine if they were able to use the CDL to push their branding, they would be massive. Like,
and what's crazy is because Gary Vaynerchuk, the guy that owns Version 1, is huge.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Multi-million-dollar or multi-million,
as much as I like
social media platform.
Genius.
Yeah, he's amazing. But I mean, again, jerseys are $80, and there's nothing on it. It just I saw one. It was Atlanta FaZe. It just says Atlanta, and it's red, white, and black. That's it. You know, this same jersey was a limited run, and it was 70 Canadian, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I paid much less than 70 because
I think it's about right.
I'm in
Give me a
America.
value.
But like this jersey has a story behind it because Drew was able to touch it. You know, the cherry blossoms mean something. The color means something. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
actual, like there's a reason to get the jersey.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not paying $80 for a 3-color jersey that just says Atlanta. That's it. There's nothing to that.
So 2 things. One, Jake, I did just quickly Google because I was curious. So yeah, the V1 account has 39,000 followers. The Minnesota Rockers have 86K followers. And it's
I
like
must be thinking of a different team then, but still, I mean,
but no,
that's
it's
double,
it's still
just about
double.
Yeah.
Just from one game. And
Yeah.
if they could think how much more orgs could post anything and get that sort of, you know, people come, and this happens a lot with orgs. Like we've seen it even in PB, and you know, we're a much smaller org. We've had people come for R6 and stay for Rocket League. But that's never going to happen if you're forced to only post under that name and only show yourself under that name. And my second issue with the whole franchising thing, and I think CDL and OWL are great learning experiences for other franchises that are not going to follow directly, but the naming thing is a problem. But even the naming problem aside, the city problem, that you can only have one team per city. So
unless you're Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, unless in
in
special situations. But it's like if we were to join the CDL or the OWL,
where the most money is.
Yeah, exactly. If we were to join the CDL though, or the OWL, we'd have to go to a different city in Ontario, or even pick somewhere, you know, other side of Canada, because we couldn't be the Toronto. There's Toronto Ultra.
Right? But I can't stand about sports either. Like there's like in hockey, there's 2 LA teams. Football, there's 2 LA teams. Like has a big market, no one cares about it.
Yeah, I mean that's how traditional sports works. They're big market teams. Like could Indianapolis, like could the Indiana Pacers field another basketball team?
No.
LA could probably have 4 and still have the worst attendance.
That's where esports differs, because yes, franchising is city based, but PB being a smaller org probably has majority of their pull from Toronto.
Exactly.
But you take LA Thieves, that's a national, international thing. That's not like they have their audience from LA.
And so last thing, because we probably do need to move on, but the problem, like you mentioned it there, like Parabellum having a smaller pool and having to change city name, that's the problem too. Because if most of their people are from Toronto, the only way they'll get the rest of Canada, like they're not gonna get anybody else from Canada fan wise if they're called like the Mississauga Parabellums. Like that's the city right next to Toronto.
The Edmonton Butters.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, and that's
the Windsor.
And that's the thing. Like
basically
people,
America.
Yeah, pretty much. But people like the Toronto name. Like if you're gonna force that anyway, the Toronto name is important, because then you go, oh, Toronto. You know, like I'd say Toronto's probably the most known city in Canada, because Drake definitely helped that out. Probably.
What do you mean? St. Edward's, New Brunswick.
Prince Edward Islands goes crazy.
That's my goal. Actually, we're gonna be the Prince Edward Island.
No, that
would be elite though. That would be kind of elite.
But
the PEIs, baby.
Speaking of franchising and all of its issues, something in the news that we've all kind of talked about, and I know Twitter's been talking about it. R6 potentially franchising. This is, I will say before we even get into this topic, this is not official
speculation.
This is speculation. That's not official knowledge. None of us know shit. But from the looks of it on Twitter, they did say that there would not be, or there might not be, a R6 NACL relegation match into the Pro League, and that kind of leads the question to, then what?
What's gonna happen to Mirage?
Yeah. All right, that was a shot fired for sure. But But no, and that's the thing. Like, what happens to the like? But it goes on both sides, right? And that's actually a really good point. As much as that was a meme, like, what does happen to Mirage? What happens to one shot or
team down
whoever's
there.
winning
Well,
NACL?
Yeah, I mean, let alone Mirage. Like, there's
Why play in ACL?
imagine FaZe wants to relocate from South America and they want to come back to NA if they franchise.
Yeah.
They're just gonna knock someone because FaZe can outbid anybody. Because it, like, with franchising, it ultimately comes down to bidding war, who's biggest, stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of factors, but
And I
money
mean,
talks.
I can be honest, and I'm sure any fan would know that, like, if it came down to a bidding war, a lot of these smaller orgs are going to get knocked out of the park so quickly, and then these orgs are going to be forced to sell these players because they don't want to fuck over the players. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I think R6, they're going to have to be really, really careful with this. This might not be a sign of franchising. It could just be, they're thinking about something else, but really nothing. It doesn't really point to anything else. So they could go an interesting route, but if they're not going to take relegation matches, then it has to mean a franchise or partner. They might go the Halo route or the VCT route and go like the partner program. But then again, it's like, who do you decide gets into this partner program? Because there's 10 teams in the NAL.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be, now this would probably be crazy, but I think it would be kind of neat, would be like a 16 team league or whatever. And you could have the 10 NALs have an academy team plus 6 play-in teams. And then kind of see, it would kind of give it just a little bit more weight in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think that would ever happen, but that would be kind of like a dream league I would want to see.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like a publicly known opinion of mine, but like a lot of my friends know this. I love relegation style leagues.
Yes, there needs to be more weight. There's
like
every game
matters. The NBA, the Kings suck, and they have sucked for so long. Imagine if there was a Bunsen burner below them, fueling some fire that they're feeling. Like, you look at Premier League over in England for soccer. 3 teams are not going to be in that league at the end of the season.
Yep.
So yes, there's always going to be that top 6 that consistently performs that are always going to be in the Premier League. But that pushes those lower market teams to make moves to make sure that they stay up.
I think it'd be neat
to give these push.
I think it'd be neat if the Atlanta Gladiators were able to bump their way to the AHL and then bump their way to the NHL.
Like, I don't know much about hockey, but who is it? Coyotes that are playing at like
Coyotes are terrible.
States.
Their
Like,
arena.
They're playing at Arizona State next year. Go Sun Devils! Come on.
So, Scooter, for comparison, where the Atlanta Gladiators play, a team 2 leagues below them, have an arena that is 4,000 more seats than what they're about to play in, and they're an NHL team.
Yep.
The Atlanta Gladiators Gas South Arena is 9,000 seats.
Yeah, and
but
see, the thing
back into esports, that's a whole different episode.
yeah, I'll let you guys take that episode.
Yeah,
sorry,
I'll go hammer.
I'm really enthusiastic about relegation.
But no, and
I think it just provides that extra push.
And I agree, and I think it's gonna be weird unless they're gonna replace it with something that's like extreme relegation. But the one thing that I hope, if they're going to, I'm not gonna say take away relegation because none of us know what they're actually gonna do. One thing I want to see them do is a more CS:GO style, where teams that don't make, and they do it for the invitational, but they don't do it for anything else. I want to see more last chance qualifiers where like teams from every level duke it out on a huge bracket, and whoever makes it somehow secures this last spot in for these majors and for invitationals. But the majors is the big thing. Like, there needs to be like a last chance qualifier for every region, so you have to add 4 teams, make the groups like 5 teams instead. But
like
I want to see that. Yeah, exactly.
I know SI is much smaller, but yeah, Rocket League is a great example of that. They have 8
Worlds is that.
Yeah, no, not even for Worlds, just for like league play. Like, they have 8 teams that are solidified at the beginning of each split because they did the best in the previous split, and then those other 8 spots, whoever qualifies.
Every
Yeah.
team.
Like,
They
yes, the top 8 that follow, like, or I guess the bottom 8 that would make it, they get an automatic qualification to day 3. But then there's a 300, 400 team qualifier bracket,
Yep.
you know, where everyone gets a shot to make it.
And you see
I think
some
that's
insane
massive.
runs, and you see a
Yeah.
lot of promise. Like there's teams that wouldn't be on someone's radar that
like there's
kinda
an
come out
NA
of
team.
nowhere.
Their team name is literally randoms because they'd never been in RLCS before. Like, granted, they're a rank A, rank X team, so like, you know, they're well known in like the bubble community. Like, people that are in Rocket League know who they are.
Yeah.
But they qualified for RLCS and made a decent run. That's elite.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what I hate seeing in esports. Like, when you go into franchising, and even in a lot of these, like, look at our team in R6, for example. Okay, I do know that they would have eventually made Pro League anyway, and they also got it robbed from them. But again, that's a story for another time if you haven't heard that one. But when they got to play at SI, sure, they had already had NACL to show themselves off a little bit. We went into SI, sure, we had a shit first day, but every day after that, no one would have seen us if not for that qualifying bracket. Now, fair enough, we got to skip a step because of the Canadian league that was, you know, before they did the merger, but more things like that need to happen because people saw us on a world stage where they wouldn't have seen us before. And
Our story is ridiculous. That
Yeah.
whole week was
and they just need
insane.
events. Like, they just need to keep throwing events our way, so that, or not, sorry, not even our way, in general, where any team, you know, they throw up a Faceit page. It's like Jake said about the Rocket League stuff, it's a 400 team qualifier, and whoever dukes it out over those 3 days of a open qualifier makes it into a closed qualifier, or even a, you know, just gets the spot.
Yeah.
I usually
they
prefer
that,
the closed.
They do that for NACL, don't they? Like, you can sign up to play a qualifier for like the last 2 spots at NACL.
Yeah, and so
I don't know if they do it for all regions, but I just know because
I only know the NACL
R6
stuff too.
knowledge is limited, but
but they definitely, like, I want to see more of that in events, because the thing is, right, let's say our season, the rest of our Pro League season, or for stage 2, goes perfectly. Let's say we get 3 points every game and somehow we don't make it to the major. Let's say just everybody in the top 4 was better than us, and, you know, I don't think that's even actually possible if we relegate our relegation win every match, but still, just for the point, let's say we came 5th and we didn't get in. Okay, well then 5th place gets granted, you know, quarterfinal closed qualifier spot. 5th and 6th maybe both get it, and then everybody else plays through an open qualifier, and boom, and then they get to, whoever wins that closed qualifier from each region gets a spot of that major. And it's one, more content for fans, more content to push the R6 skins, more, you know, teams can actually show themselves, young talent can show themselves that need to be moved up to NAL, you know, and NACL teams can even take a crack at it. And that's the sort of stuff that I think we need. And I don't know. I think we're in the next couple of weeks, I think we'll hear more, but I definitely think we have to keep an eye out for whatever, you know, Ubisoft / R6 is even going to do. But I mean, speaking of keeping our eyes out, I'm going to keep my eyes out for our sponsors. I know.
Keep our eyes open with this energy drink.
Well, exactly. That's who. Well, we're gonna start with one other first, but I am gonna give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors. You know, we got React, the big boys at the top. We got Compete, which is, you know. Oh, we didn't. Do we touch on that? Did we touch on Compete?
No. Well,
no,
yeah,
but we had to push the event
we
back.
need to, because we had to push it back.
We'll talk about that after the quick shout out. So Compete, and then obviously Guru. We've been with Guru for a while now. Shout out to them. Banger energy drink. Shakepay, Raven, Quota Tech, and Zoe, and they're all fantastic. Obviously, helping make this happen, helping put those clean logos on the clean jerseys, and, you know, shout out to them.
Can I show them? Or so, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, hold on, wait. Let me just
block that one.
let me cover up certain,
and then block this one.
But yeah, so yeah, we touched on
shoulder.
Compete real quick. You guys want to just take that one? You guys
Yeah.
want to kick that one off?
I'll hit that one, Jake. So due to a conflict, we were going to be running a Rocket League compete GG tournament.
8-bit
It was
cup.
going to be, yeah, the 8-bit cup, $250 prize pool, CAD, of course, with an 8-bit coffee prize pack. But due to a scheduling conflict with another event, we're going to have to push it back. Probably going to wait maybe about a week or two. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be casted, going to have different matches. So hopefully we get some good teams. So stay posted on the socials, and we'll definitely talk about it. Probably preview some of the teams, so maybe get incentive to get a run through the bracket on if we know them or not. So yeah, gonna be a fun time, and we'll keep you guys posted on that tournament coming up.
Yeah, and we're really excited to do it. This will be the first time we have an event like this where we actually get to, pursue some type of tournament organization. And we're really excited to do that. And we know we got a lot of people in the Rocket League community that are excited for it.
I'm just excited to watch some more Rocket League, honestly.
And we're pushing on a new platform, new sponsor, Compete. So gonna see how that works out. I think this is their first time doing Rocket League. So a lot of learning, but it's gonna be a fun event, and I think we're gonna learn a lot and make even more better events in the future. I think this one's gonna be fun though.
Yeah, and you touched on socials. I'll just give I imagine if you're watching this, you know our socials, but if you've come across this video randomly, don't forget to follow Parabellum on Twitter at PBLM Esports. Officially verified. Can't believe that actually happened.
Oh yeah.
And then Instagram, I think we're our PBLM Esports as well. I'll put them in the description. I actually don't know our Instagram off the top of my head. Did I get it?
I think it is PBLM Esports.
Okay, I thought Noobsie was looking.
Bad content slot.
Damn. But we're getting real close to the end here, but I just wanted to touch on first schedule. This is kind of the boring part, so we'll get it out of the way. So obviously this podcast is a brand new series. Noobsie's already fallen asleep at this one, but we're going to be doing a episode every single week. Oh, hell yeah.
That was great quality.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I won't ever do that again.
But yeah, so we're going to be doing an episode every single week. It's going to be pre-recorded for the YouTube and Spotify, and that's going to be recorded by us and released on Mondays. So you should be seeing this on Monday, and if you're not, either I, Noobsie, or Jake royally fucked up. And the end of every month, every Tuesday, the last Tuesday of every month, I should say, is going to be a live edition of this podcast. That's probably going to go horribly wrong, but in a really good way.
But that's content.
Exactly.
And I will be hammered.
So yeah, that's gonna be the last Tuesday of every month. There's the man. He's just
Follow me, boys. Follow.
But yeah, so it's gonna be the last Tuesday of every month, live on twitch.tv/PBLM Esports. And then we don't know what time those are gonna go live, but just follow the social medias down below. We may eventually make a Twitter for this podcast. We'll see. Might just run it through the Parabellum. There's a lot of things we still need to figure out. This is going to be pretty dry for the first couple of weeks. But and then I just want to quickly touch on what we kind of want to accomplish with this podcast. We kind of talked about it very, very quickly at the beginning, and I think it's a pretty short conversation as well. But for me, it's just, the refrag was really fun to do, but for me, I wanted to extend that to everything. World news, esports. Obviously, again, today was like super esports heavy, but it's because we've missed a lot. So it's going to be refrag plus more, essentially. And then, I just want to have a podcast where people can tune in, listen to Jake, listen to me, listen to Noobsie. We're going to talk a bunch of shit. You can tell us what you think in the comments and stuff, whether you agree with us, disagree with us, opinions on what we've talked about, opinions you want us to talk about. And I just wanted to take that podcast to more of a chilled out level than the refrag. The refrag was very chill with Drew, but we're taking it to more of a conversation than a podcast. And then what about you guys? You guys anything you want to add?
I just like being in front of the camera.
Follow me on Twitter, boys. Jmal __RL. Get them numbers up.
Man,
You have
imagine
2
having 2 underscores. Yeah.
What a
Sorry, I
fucking
was
nerd, dude.
late to the esports game. Okay, there's apparently a lot of Jmal RLs out there.
Well, Sir Noobsie on Twitter, capital S, capital N.
Not Sir Noobsie.
Oh, it's just at Noobsie, isn't it? Oh yeah, not Sir Noobsie's my burner account. Find me. I'm the man of the bucket hat. Waiting on some Raven, GG, PB bucket hat merch. So hopefully I can persuade Llama
You're just
and make
making them
me
meet
be
your
a
demands
bucket hat.
now.
Dude. Yeah, no, I'm just Llama can't defend himself, so I'm just gonna go up to him and be like, "Hey, I need a bucket hat." So,
And then obviously all these are gonna be on screen and down below if you need to read them. Mine is just at Scooter CS:GO because finding Scooter anything plain is
Razor
Just impossible.
__.
Scooter.
no. I'll change my at to Razor Scooter when we get
Leaks. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
It's not leaks. Not leaks. Not
Hey
leaks.
yo.
Ayo, no sponsor. But yeah, no, I
New
think
Balance hit me up.
At
but-
Pink Whitney, sponsor the show.
Get me a twee board.
At a Pink Whitney. We already got the Pink Whitney collab merch.
Yeah, we just gotta change the flowers to bottles, dude.
Get Biz Nasty to sign it. That'd be kind of sick.
Wow, this outro is chalked.
Yeah, this is super
That's
chalked, but
terrible.
it's that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be chalked. It's meant to be a bit more on the not as straightforward side. But we're gonna call it for today. That's gonna be the same time next week, and then end of July you'll get the live one, and that's gonna be chalked. Like
That's gonna be terrible. At
All right.
the end of the month, dude. Because
if we get 50 live viewers, I'm shotgunning on stream.
there you go, you heard it. We can kind of go more into it. I'll go into it after the show. Maybe
all right, and we'll see you guys. You guys will see this on Monday, and then we'll see you next Monday. Peace.
See ya.
later. Y'all take it easy. Stay pretty.